Right.
All the music is African. Brazilian music.
All of it.
Dominican music. Spanish drums. All the music is African music. So, you know, you getting on the Afro beat now. I've been in Africa. They been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It ain't new. All the music is African. You know what I'm saying? But you right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even in Puerto Rico, when you go to Caribbean, like let's speak about Latinos not being black. Latinos are black. In Cuba at one time, there was 8 million Cubans. 5 million, unfortunately, were slaves. 3 million were actual Cubans. And they integrated and had babies. Same thing with Puerto Rico when you go to Loíza, and when you talk about Santeria, that came from the motherland, Africa. You know, sometimes Latinos might even identify themselves with African and black culture more than black people. This ain't no crazy thing. Fat Joe ain't on crack. He know what he talking about. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm telling you the truth.
Well, the heritage also, too, because, you know, mainland American slavery is different than Caribbean plantation slavery because culture was able to stay intact. When you got to mainland America, they was killing black folks for trying to celebrate their spirituality.
They was killing black folks
and keep
for
that and
everything.
stripped all of that. So when you get to the Caribbean and you see that connection back to Africa, very strong in the people, it's very strong in the people.
When you go
Very
to
strong.
Cuba, too, when they break down some of the santos,
Cuba.
they'll also tell you this is the real names of the santos, and this is the name we use when we were trying to hide it
Yo,
to protect
that's
it.
the illest story. Yo, so when David O and them cats come over from Africa and I start telling them about Europe, because they're Yoruba.
Different.
They're Yoruba from the original tribe in Africa. And I'm like, yo, you know when you go to Brazil, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't know that Yoruban culture exists in the islands? They don't even know that it's still maintained.
But Brazil is
that fabric. Yo,
Brazil
trip on this.
is from Portuguese.
Yo.
So the Portuguese colonized Brazil.
Yeah.
So that's why you got Brazil is pretty
Speaking
much
Portuguese.
Africa.
Yeah.
And they speak Portuguese. And the same thing in Angola.
But I'm telling you,
Rwanda.
they don't even know that was maintained. That's not commonly shared. That between Yoruban people in Africa, that in the Caribbean and the colonies of America, that stayed intact. It blows their mind.
Yeah. It's ill, man, and they celebrate it to the fullest, man. They celebrate it out there like crazy. But yeah, I get it.
Fat Joe, new album, Family Ties. Great
Ties,
title.
right, Family
Tying it all
Ties.
together. Keeping the
it
culture
ties.
intact.
We
keeping the
it.
family tied.
What is race? A human race is defined most often as a group of people with certain features that are in common with each other that distinguish them from other groups of people. Speaking in broad terms, research on racial differences has led scientists to at least 3 major groups. These 3 conclusions were Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid. Now this means that there are only 3 true races of humans: Caucasoid, which is the white people; Mongoloids are the Asian people; Negroids are the people who look like me, the black people. Everyone else is of a hybrid identity. I will break this down for you. Now, since the world glorifies celebrities, I've decided to use them as an attention grabber to open up this video. Black is the dominant gene. What do you consider J. Cole? What do you consider Barack Obama? What do you consider Colin Kaepernick? What about Alicia Keys? How about Bob Marley? can go on all day with this list. When there's black mixed with white, we call them black. But when there's black mixed with other ethnicities, we don't call them black. Most of us are ignorant when it comes to different ethnicities. And I don't mean ignorant as if you're stupid. I mean ignorant in every sense of the word. Now, you can't be Puerto Rican without being black. You can't be Dominican without being black. What about the Brazilians? What about the Cuban people? Let me tell you what Fidel Castro said about the Cuban people. Now, mind you, before he passed away, he protected our sister Assata Shakur for over 4 decades. Go watch my video on Assata. Fidel Castro has stated more than once that all Cubans have black blood running through them. All Cubans have the blood of Africa running through their veins. Fidel Castro sent over 25,000 troops into Africa to fight apartheid. And once they arrived in South Africa, Fidel told them, "We will not strip Africa of any gold, of any diamonds. We won't rob Africa like everyone else. The only thing we're taking back from Africa is the bodies of our dead brothers, the Cuban soldiers." If it wasn't for Fidel Castro, Nelson Mandela would have not been set free at that time. Cuban soldiers also went into the Congo. This was right after the killing of Patrice Lumumba. You have some black folks who still love JFK. Well, guess what? JFK gave the green light to kill Patrice Lumumba. Cuban soldiers went over there to assist in their war as they fought for their independence. And one of our greatest historians of all time, Professor James Smalls, calls Fidel Castro the greatest revolutionary of all time. The Dominican Republic is on an island between Puerto Rico and Cuba. Columbus claimed it its Spanish crown and founded the first permanent European settlement. Santo Domingo became the capital of the Dominican Republic. About a century after Columbus' arrival, all the native Tainos had perished, and the enslaved Africans made up the majority of the island. The Spanish colony was called Santo Domingo, and the French one, Saint Domingue. Successful slave revolts shook Saint Domingue in the late 18th century. France abolished slavery, and the black leader, Toussaint Louverture, defeated the Spanish and the English in the name of France in 1795. As a result, Spanish Santo Domingo was ceded to France under the Treaty of Bastille. Now, you want to talk about the Spanish people? Understand something. Spanish is a language. I could be a Spanish man. I speak English. So in that sense, I'm an Englishman. Spanish is not a race. The Africans were on the island. The Portuguese was on the island. The Taino Indians were on the island. And the African blood flowing through their veins created the Dominicans. King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella appointed Fray Nicolas Ovando as new governor of Santo Domingo, authorizing him to bring back black slaves to their colony. Since then, people of African descent make up over 90% of the Dominican Republic. Puerto Rico was originally known as San Juan Bautista. On April 17, 1492, Ferdinand and Isabella signed an agreement to finance Columbus's voyage. The document is known as Capitulations of Santa Fe. This agreement established that Columbus will be the governor of all discovered land, and he will own the rights of 10% of whatever he brings back. Columbus set out and brought over 1,500 men with him. Once they arrived at the island, 50,000 Taino Indians were there to greet him with open arms. They embraced him. They treated him like a brother. He was a friend. They also showed him golden nuggets in the river and told him that he can take what he wants, which was a huge mistake because Columbus took them all. He took everything. The island was now conquered. They brought over the Africans and they integrated with the Spaniards and the Taino Indians. Now their offsprings are what we know as Puerto Ricans. A lot of Puerto Ricans are waking up now. They understand who they are. But just like our coons, you still have some who don't want to be black. The Brazilian people also have African ancestry. After Brazil was conquered in 1500, they brought over 10 million African slaves. And just like the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, and the Dominicans, they integrated, and these offsprings are now the Brazilian people. We are so confused as a people, we don't even know what to call ourselves. As long as we're on the same page, I wouldn't care what we called ourselves. Even now in 2020, we have black folks saying, "Nah, bruh, we're Aboriginal. No, we're Hebrew. We're Moors." The ancestors have always referred to us as black. The terms back then were Indi, which means black, Indian, which means black, Moor means black, Negro means black. I literally had a person tell me that we didn't start calling ourselves Negroes until the 1930s. There was a whole Negro Act in 1740. This is how confused we are. We have people saying, we were over here in America first, which is true. We the real children of Israel, which is true. We were over in Africa, which is true. What you need to understand is, we were in every inch of this earth having an experience. We wasn't just in one place. We were everywhere. This was part 1 of Black People Are Everywhere. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comment section. What is race?
But the purpose of this video is to let you know that there are people of color here in the Dominican Republic. I know what you see on TV, you see a lot, and then in the United States, you see a lot of Dominicans, many Dominican people, you know, they saying that they're not of color and all that kind of thing. But the truth of the matter is it's not their fault. The reason that they say that is because it's not necessarily taught here. But you can see these guys, you see his color right here? You see his color, you see everybody, he's light skinned. You see my boy here, ¿de qué color tú eres?
Black. Soy negro.
Yeah, hey, so you see that he's saying that he's black. You can see him right here. He look like he from the east side of Detroit. You see my little boy back up. ¿Qué color tú eres? Okay, see, everybody's negro. But he a light skin. This my boy, he light skin too. But everybody is still, they got color. You see my man Mellito? ¿Qué color tú eres?
Black.
Okay, see, hey, so everybody is black. Everybody knows they're black. This is my cousin right here, Mané. Primo. ¿Qué lo que es primo?
Chilling, man.
What color you are? What color you?
Black. I'm a nigga.
Oh, you heard it. Hey, you heard what he said. So the point is that people down here, they know that they're black. What happened is that a long time ago, when this country, in this country's inception, came the people of, they were already here, the Taino Indians, okay, and then you had the African slaves here. To this island came about 700,000 African slaves. So in order for there to be the colors that you see, that's African descendants naturally, it's African blood, but it's also Indian blood here. What happened is many of the Taino Indians were ran out because they didn't want to be slaves to the Portuguese and the Spanish, and so what they did was they went off and they made subcultures with Africans. That's what they did in Puerto Rico as well. So that's the reason you see what you will see light-skinned people, or you will see even dark-skinned people with quote-unquote good hair. You see these guys with they're dark, but they have curly hair. But when have you seen an Indian tall like this guy and cut and strong like that? That's African roots, man. You know, a lot of these guys, you see my little dog here, you see him right here? These are African mixed with Indian people as well. The lighter people, naturally the lighter people are gonna be more European, okay? But the purpose of this is to let you know that, hey man, there's black people down here too. You have black people everywhere. The African influence is everywhere. Some Dominicans in New York may identify, they may say that they're not black, and the reason that they're saying that they're not black is because of the stigma that's attached to black people. They don't want to be attached to that. So what they're saying is they're Dominican. So naturally they are Dominican, but black is a color, it's not a nationality. Dominican is a nationality, but black is the actual color. So that's the distinction that we got to understand, that black is a color, just like white is a color.
I would like to give a huge shout out to my Dominican brother Dame for allowing me to use this clip. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube page and also follow him on IG.